Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mel and Wally Show. I'm Mel.
Bonjour, I'm Wally.
On this podcast, we talk about whatever the hell we want.
Because we can. Please enjoy, subscribe, like, and follow. Do all the things. Hello, everyone.
I'm Mel.
I'm Wally. This episode, we're going to talk about perceptions of aging.
Ooh.
I feel like it's crazy when you're like a child or younger and you like think of someone who's 30 and they're like so old.
Oh god, yeah. You look at somebody who's probably like 22 and you're like,
yeah, you're
like the oldest person
I know,
like
yeah.
the grown up, and anybody who's like 40 is like
you're
ancient.
on your way to dying.
They're like
yeah.
they are like a grandparent.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I was in high school, I would like volunteer at like elementary schools or even young, like I don't know what's the youngest one. Elementary school was the youngest one.
Yes.
And they were like in grade 1 or 2 and they'd be like, how old are you, like 30? I'm like, no, I'm like 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you think I'm 30, how old do you think your teacher is?
Like,
and they're like
50.
Like it's so funny because I like, even me, like when I was growing up, I was like, oh, I want to like, you know, have all these things by the time I'm 30 because that's so old to me. But I'm just like, now I'm like 26 and I'm like, first I'm nowhere near to any of those like quote unquote goals that I had set for myself as a child, which half those things are probably not even what I want anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, is that you set these
expectations
goals
first, yeah,
in quotation marks when you're young, and then I feel like when you get to like certain ages, you're like, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Right?
I'm so glad that this isn't happening yet. Like when I was a teenager, I wanted to be married by the time I was like 20 or 21.
Oh gosh.
And then have my first baby when I was 22 or 23.
Oh my god.
Like it was insane.
Yeah.
And then I got to those ages and I was like, thank
God
that didn't happen. And then just like the older I got, like looking back at it, I was like, yeah,
that would have been crazy.
That would have been awful for me. Like some people do it and
more power to you
for them and they're happy.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have been the situation if I had actually like gone through with it or been in the place where that
was happening,
presented itself as an option. But when it kind of came to any of those decisions, I never chose that, and I always thought that I would, and then I just like went the opposite way. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's weird that like expectations and things we put on ourselves that we need to have at a certain age. Like I still think that I need to be further, or I should be further in my life than I am, or whatever. Which is like, I'm 26. Calm down, you know. Like there's so much that I could still do with my life, and so many things that I could still try. Like I don't have to decide on exactly what I want to do right now at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you ever. Well, I shouldn't say this, but I think that part of the beauty of aging is that you kind of realize that you never really want to stop growing or experimenting with new things or like learning new things or trying new things. It's always like on to the next thing, and like your life evolves.
Right.
It's like that feeling never really goes away.
No, I agree, and I think that's good because it's like knowing who I am now or whatever, like I don't want to ever stop growing. Like I want to continue learning because it's not like you can ever know everything in the world or, you know, do everything in the world. So why not continue trying to explore new options, or just keeping your mind open into like not being like, this is the concrete way that my life has to go. Which if you had asked me like even 5 years ago, I would have had a very different, you know, answer or whatever, because I like, since I was like really young, I wanted to like be married and have kids by the time I was 30. And that's definitely not happening anytime soon. But it's like if I do have kids, and I think I do want kids, I definitely don't want to be like 80 and have my kid be in high school. But
no, that makes complete sense.
I don't
that's
also
reasonable.
like think that I need to have them now, which I used to think.
Yeah.
Because like you said too, like I can't imagine being like a fully like full-time father, I guess, because I guess I'm technically like a part-time dad right now or whatever. but I don't, like, I couldn't do that. Like, where I am in my life right now. I don't think I could afford it. I don't think I'm emotionally or mentally ready, even though I used to think that I was, but I don't think I am anymore. And, like, I think
it's huge. Like, I think that if it ends up happening, and this is more for, like, hetero relationships where it can at any time just kind of, like, happen. And you're
by
like,
accident.
oh,
you have to deal
crap.
with it.
Yeah, you have to deal with it. And I think that most people are capable of rising to the occasion, even if it isn't what they would have chosen.
Of course. I mean,
like, I think
you kind of have to. Oh, I guess you don't have to, but...
if you choose to go through with the pregnancy, then you find ways to make it work.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like, it's a very drastic change, especially when it's kind of like,
out of nowhere, or not
out of
planned,
nowhere.
I guess.
But it's definitely one that you can run with.
Yeah,
and then you stumble along the way.
Of course, and I think even if it's planned, you still stumble. Like, it's not like everything is roses, even if it's a planned baby. Like, there's harder days than anything.
That's also something that really pisses me off, because so often I'll just speak as, like, a woman who has gone through pregnancy for
Twice.
a second. You are not allowed by a lot of people to complain about being pregnant or having children. People will shame you for that, because there are so many people who wish that they were in your position, and you chose to get pregnant. You chose to follow through with the pregnancy, so you are therefore not allowed to complain about anything to do with it. That's crap. Yeah. That is such crap.
Preach it. I know. It makes no sense to me that people even think that that's okay to do to someone. It's like, I'm sorry, just because I chose to decide to have this baby doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to have a hard day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm dying of a heat stroke right now, basically, because I'm hot and I'm sweaty and I'm wearing, like, basically nothing, but I'm still, like, dying of heat. It's coming from someone who's been around many pregnant people. I've obviously never been pregnant myself, but it's just like
I've been throwing up all day and feel sick right now, and my hormones are going all over the place, and I might kill you if you say the wrong thing, but then I also might break down crying. Maybe I'll do both at the same time. Yeah. And I have to pee every 2 seconds. And I'm like getting all, like, big, and my body is, like, bloated everywhere from the heat, and I'm swollen and uncomfortable and in pain and exhausted.
Like, I think what a lot of people don't understand.
Don't tell me I cannot complain about any of that. I will kill you.
I think a lot of people, like, they are like, oh, you are able to get pregnant, so therefore, like, you should be happy. It's like, just because I'm complaining doesn't mean that I'm not happy with having the baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm just having a hard day or whatever.
They're not related.
No,
you can
not
be
at all.
So grateful that you are able to
do this naturally,
to have a child, and how easy it has come to you, because, like, I think that there are a lot of women who don't know, like, don't realize some of the struggles that people have, but then there are, like, the majority of people who know exactly, like, the struggle and the fear and, like,
all of it.
Yeah, that people are going through as much as they can without have gone through it
themselves. Yeah,
themselves.
It's like me empathizing or thinking of
But it's just like, you can complain about having a hard day without it being,
well, like, in a different way. It's like an analogy of having, like,
without it taking away from somebody else.
Right. It's like having a job you love. You can still have a hard day.
Yes. Yeah, but you can complain about that.
Exactly. Like, that doesn't mean that you hate your job necessarily. It just means that day was not a great day, and it was difficult.
You're allowed to literally complain about anything in the world except when you are pregnant. Then you cannot complain about anything.
And, like, I obviously understand that, like, My problem, I think, with that is that it's usually the people that haven't been through it themselves that are the ones being like, oh, well, people can't get pregnant. I'm like, shut up, Karen. Like, this is not about you. It's like when it's like with, this is such a topic right now with like the Black Lives Matter movement, like all these quote unquote white saviors that are trying to be like basically having their voice be louder than all the black people and people of color's voices. And I'm like, it's not about you. Like, yes, please be an ally, but there's a different way to be an ally than to like have your voice be the only one that's heard.
Well,
because that just means that it's that you're.
That wouldn't be an allyship.
No, exactly.
At all.
That's
it's
you.
Like,
that's like a performative. That's very performative to like have it be like, yeah, I love black people, or I love, you know, the gays, or whatever the case may be, and then but you're only doing it for clout, to like gain popularity or whatever. And I just that just irks me so much. It's like, yeah, I just can't with the Karens. Sorry if your name is Karen, you're a nice person. But, you know, now you know how everyone else feels that has been going through a situation that's been marginalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, so deal with it, Karen. I had at the restaurant I work at the other day, I had a customer named Karen who's such a Karen, like complaining about her mask to put it on. I'm like, you're putting it on for 2 seconds to sit at your table, then you're allowed to take it off. I have this on for 10 hours a day or whatever. You can deal with it.
Well, yeah, it's just like either put it on
or don't
get out.
And then what bothers me so much about that too is when people are like, I have asthma or it's a medical reason. I'm like, you shouldn't be outside. If you have such bad asthma that you can't breathe through a mask, which is, by the way, not true, then you shouldn't be outside, because if you get COVID, you will literally die.
This is true.
It's also not about you. This, like, you're doing it to make sure you're not, like, you could be asymptomatic and maybe have it and not know, obviously, because you're asymptomatic, and then give it to others.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about
crazy.
you. It's like, just, be a nice person and just put your mask on for the 5 minutes that I'm telling you to put it on for and deal with it. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I can't. And I'm like,
speaking of hard days.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, gosh. I'm like, thank you for living up to your name.
Yeah.
Because we have to take everyone's names down that come down if they don't have a reservation or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like, she was probably like 50. But looked like she was like 60.
I was gonna say, actually, it seems that there's like an age gap, like where people are either taking, just generalizing here, sorry, no offense to anybody, but people that are taking the pandemic seriously yeah. seem to all be within like a certain age range, and then are having trouble with like their parents not being able to follow or not wanting to follow any of the safety protocols, and then like obviously like the younger
that are partying for
who are just
dumb,
don't care.
But
like,
I agree.
Nobody when they're like a teenager really cares that much. Like, it's harder to get them to care. You have of course you have exceptions to every rule.
Yeah, but I feel like from the people that I've dealt with in the service industry so far, it's never been a young person that's complained or been weird about the mask. They're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna put it on because that's what the rules are. And it's like, it's really not that difficult, because when you're walking around in the restaurant, you have to put it on, and then when you're sitting down, you can take it off. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine. You're not going to die in the 30 seconds that it takes you to walk to your table.
Like, you could.
Well.
If you, in those 30 seconds, contract the disease and then die because of it.
Yeah. Well, that would just mean that you have a weak immune system and you shouldn't be outside anyway.
That's true. Or you're, like, in really unfortunate minority of people who are healthy and get it and die.
Yeah, that's true. That would be crazy to like. I mean, obviously, it would be crazy to just die, but like being completely fine and healthy and doing everything you can and then still getting it.
Well, definitely, it happens to people.
I know. It's like any disease, I guess, because it's like you can, not smoke, not drink, and do everything that's quote unquote correct, and then still get cancer and die. Yeah. That happened on Grey's Anatomy with that lady. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, with getting back to our topic, that we haven't talked about in like 20 minutes, or however long it's been. Like, when I was a child, I was like, I couldn't imagine being 30 years old or 40 years old.
30 is a big one
right?
for people. I feel like a lot of people put 30 as like a milestone of when they need to have their life together.
Right. Which is like, not like, you shouldn't put that pressure onto yourself.
No, because it's just like setting
not
yourself
up
for like a ton of disappointment.
Right. Which I think whenever we like have expectations on ourselves, it usually ends up in disappointment because you're being too hard on yourself.
Yeah. It's like, it's okay. It's one thing to have goals.
Yes.
It's another thing to say that this is like where you need to be at a certain point and have that be like the marker. Because then it's sort of like every year, every month that you're closer and closer and closer to it. It's just like
more pressure and more pressure and more pressure.
And you're just like miserable and stressed out.
Yeah. And then you're putting yourself into a pressure cooker basically, and you're gonna like break down or have something that is not going to be a fun thing to deal with.
Yeah, I've known a lot of people who have had like the 30 milestone and have like rushed into marriages or having kids or like trying to lock down a job and like not necessarily like what they wanted to do or like a good
respectable career,
respectful work environment.
Right.
They'll just like be there and then that's where they're supposed to be. So they like are like, okay, this is my job now. This is my career. And then they're completely miserable.
Yeah.
I've known, like, and the same thing with like relationships, and unfortunately, same thing with like having kids. If you like are like, I'm supposed to have a child by the time I am this old, sometimes you're not necessarily like ready for that, and it's so much harder, and you're setting yourself up for like a lot of
disappointment
trouble.
And failure.
Well, like feelings. Of that, and then it's not healthy because really you're not doing any of those things,
right?
Like, any of those things for the right reason.
Well, and I think it's also like you need to like, when you put that much pressure onto something and expectations, like it's gonna be harder for it to succeed.
Well, it can be. Sometimes things magically work
out. But I feel like you can't put too much pressure on it.
No.
Mel, can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah, sure. You can ask me whatever you want. You know that.
This has been bugging me for a really, really long time. Does size matter?
You know who would be perfect for answering that? She's been with like way more people than me. Jacqueline.
Oh, you mean that wannabe drag queen that hosts sex trades?
Yeah. I mean, sex trades with Jacqueline of all trades. There are already 5 episodes out.
Oh, okay. Well, what if I don't want to tell the whole world my name?
Just use an alias or tell her that it's from Anonymous.
I guess I'll DM her on Instagram at JacquelineO.T, JACKELYNNEO.T.
You know, you could also email her at mandpafterdark@gmail.com. mandpafterdark@gmail.com.
Thanks, Mel.
No problem.
and that's what I think where the issue comes from. Like recently, like going back to what you said about jobs, like I like recently gave in, like I'm leaving a job that I thought I was gonna have for a really long time or forever or whatever, because I was like, and I haven't necessarily been happy there for a really long time, as you know. But I
do know this.
And it's like everyone was telling me, he's like, Wally, you need to just like leave it because you're unhappy, and like that's just causing you stress and like, you know, making your own mental and physical health worse. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But in my mind at the same time, I was like, I've had so many like jobs that haven't worked out or that I've left for the similar reasons, because I don't deal well with tyrants, and I cannot like deal with people that like have a power trip over their position or whatever. Like just because you own this place doesn't mean you can act like a complete tyrant. Like that's not cool.
It's not.
But that happens so much.
Yes.
And usually the pro of that whatever is that like if the person owns the place, usually they're not there that much. Even if they are a tyrant, usually the manager or whatever is the one running the place. But this place that I was working at wasn't like that at all. And like the owner was just there constantly all the time, like over top of your head, and I was the manager there. So like in my mind I was like, okay, like I'm not just like a quote unquote server, I'm not just like an employee at a store. So I'm like, I should be happy with this, you know, because I'm in a position that's higher than what quote unquote people my age would normally have or whatever. So I'm like, this is what I should be happy in, and like putting that pressure onto myself was making it worse. And then just like continuously noticing things that were like not okay more and more. And I won't get into too much detail about everything because that can be a whole episode by itself.
I've heard all the stories. If you want to know any of the juicy gossip, just ask me.
Yeah, email Melissa. But it's just like once you notice something about someone, then you continuously notice it more and more and more. Even you like, I was kind of blinded by like I never saw it before.
Yeah.
But now it's just like so constant, and I'm like, I cannot support this kind of behavior. And I as someone who is not white, as someone who is not hetero, like I cannot support any of the things that this person was doing. So I was like, I can't. And like it kind of, the job that I'm starting, I'm like excited to see where that goes. Which I'm quote unquote now just a server, which is fine because I'm like, I'd rather be a little tighter on cash and be happy.
Well, exactly.
And also, I don't think I will.
Worth so much.
Exactly, and I also don't even think I'm going to be that much tighter on cash because I'm making so many more tips. Like weekly, I thought the place I was making like $70 right now, but my wage was higher. But now my wage is like lower, but I'm making like almost $100 in tips a day.
Yeah.
So it kind of evens it out. And if I like just spend my tips, then I have enough money for rent and all the groceries and all that. And that's like, as long as I make rent and groceries, that's all that really, really matters. The rest of the stuff kind of will work itself out. Yes. Like worst came to worst, we could have done this on Zoom if I couldn't come down here because of gas or whatever.
That is true.
But it's just obviously easier this way. But yeah, I think it's just like you need to like, you know, alleviate some pressure off yourself to like not have to be at a certain spot in your life, because I was like, I'm 26, I can't leave another job, what am I gonna do, you know what I mean? And it's just like shut up, Wally, like you'll be fine as long as you find another job and then you leave that job. It's not like you're just doing nothing for a month or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this other job goes, and it kind of like worked out in such a weird way. My one friend Shelly, who I met through Uplift Black, the organization that I'm a part of in Barrie, she knew how like much I needed a new job, and she was like, oh, I have a friend Eliza who works at this place, blah blah blah. And then like I just left work one day, and I called Shelly and Courtney, they're the founders of the company or the organization, and I was just like, I thought they needed help with something, so I called them, and I was like, hey, like, where are you guys? Like I'm done work now, so I can come up. Like, oh, are you done work right now? I'm like, yeah. Like, okay, just come to the place that they were at, which is where the Eliza was working. I was like, okay. So I just like went in and then had an interview right then and there. And she's like, so when are you like free? I'm like, well, what do you mean, like tonight,
That's
tomorrow?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I'd be so mad.
Also, I was like, I had just finished work, so I was like sweaty and gross.
Exactly how you want to go for an interview.
Right? And I said that. I was like, they're like, it's fine. She knows that you just finished work. So anyway, so I went in and she was excited to see me and like meet me, and like she knew a lot about the other job. She's like, I can see why you want to leave. So anyway, she was like, if you're free tonight, like you can come in for a couple hours to just see how it goes, and and all that. I'm like, okay. So I went home, took a shower, got dressed, and like I texted my roommate Gabby. I was like, hey, I won't be home till later tonight, because we're basically like a married couple. So we have to know where each other are at all times. But I texted her. I was like, hey, I'm not going to be home tonight. Like I'm going to be home very late because I have a training shift or whatever at this place. And she was like, oh my god, that is so funny, because the day before, one of her coworkers apparently was eating there, and the manager was just like talking about how she needed people, and she was going to tell me, and then the night before, but then we just got into other topics and she forgot to tell me. So that is crazy, because I'm like, so all these things kind of like, I was like, this is like the universe, like a sign or something that this needs to like happen. But yeah, everyone that I've met at that place is like super nice so far, and like I'm so excited because like 2 days after being there, I have a drink on the menu. So it's
yes, which sounds really good.
Ooh, yeah. So if you guys are ever in Barrie, come to the Common Good Cafe and Social House and ask for a Wally's Love Potion. You can get it as a mocktail or with as a cocktail. So yeah, and I'll make it for you. And if I'm not there, someone else will make it for you because it's in the recipe book. It's a hidden menu item. I love it. It looks like a pinky sunrise almost.
That's amazing.
Which is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it like.
I'm not ever in Barrie.
Well,
but you should make it for me.
I'll come here and make it for you. I like one of my friends was in, and I was like, she wanted a mocktail because she's not drinking, or I think she's doing a dry month or something. So she asked me to make her a mocktail. I was like, okay. I was like, what do you? She's like, whatever, just come with me. I was like, okay. I just randomly made that up, and then, a few other customers saw it, I guess, and then they were like, oh, what's that? We want one. So I like made like 20 of them in one day. Yep. And my other coworkers were like, you need to write that down so that we know what's in it, because everyone loved it. I was like, that is so funny. So, yeah, taking over the place.
Oh, your water is so loud.
It is. I'm sorry. I get thirsty a lot. Have you ever dealt with like pressure like that with a job or something because of your age or whatever, like in your own perception, like I can't do that, like,
No, I think that I was pretty good at staying away from that.
That's good.
Or like I figured it out pretty early. Yeah, like there are certain things, because I'm 38 now, like I'm a ton older than you are.
See, like, but now it doesn't seem like that much older. Like a couple years ago, I would have been like, "Oh, you're so much older," but now I'm like,
well, a couple of years ago, we still knew each other, Wally, and you were not saying that I was so much older.
Yes, I was.
No, you made fun of me the same way that you make fun of me now.
Yeah, but now it's like more of a joke. Back then, it might have been a little bit more serious.
Fine.
But now that I understand that age is just age, Okay.
Whatever.
If you want to be pressed about that, you can be pressed about that. We'll talk about that later.
I don't know what any of your young people lingo is.
Press just means that you're like taking issue with it, or that it's like bothering you. Care. I know you don't.
Know why? Because I'm older.
Like I'm older and wiser, and I got better things to worry about.
I don't care about any of that crap.
You're like, I have kids and life to worry about. I don't care about what you think of my age.
Yeah, there are certain things with 40
that scare you.
No, they don't scare me. Just I don't want to like do certain things after 40.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to have any more children once I hit 40.
So you're saying you do want more before then?
I wouldn't be upset if there was another baby. Like, we're not planning for one or anything. I just, like, Daisy, we wanted to have a second one, but we were not planning on having her as soon as we had her.
Right.
She is like a little sneaky ninja child.
She's like, yeah, they're 13 months apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty soon.
Yes. Yeah, 4 months after a C-section, and you're like, I'm pregnant again. Nobody's happy with you when that happens.
Especially your doctors. And
well, this is what I'm talking about. And everybody's like, okay. Good job. I'm like, well, I was trying not to make this happen.
Well, clearly not. We all know there's only one way that you can actually make sure that it doesn't happen, and you weren't doing that, which is, I understand it completely. I'm not saying.
But by not having sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
I was like, well, I wasn't gonna, like, have any kind of surgical procedure.
Oh, no.
Have any kind of procedure.
I think the only, like...
Yeah. That's not happening.
That's not an option. I get it. I totally understand.
But yeah, I don't want to have any kids
after 40. That's fair.
That's just my own, well, and M's as well.
I think that's also like
our personal choice. Like, I'm saying that and putting that into the universe right now. So there'll be like some kind of oops baby at like 45 or something. And we'll be like, we're done with all that. They're taking care of themselves. And then it'll be like, and now we're back in diapers.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just like, I think it's like fair to not want to necessarily be pregnant after you're 40. Isn't, because it just like also gets harder like on your body, right?
It can. Some people have absolutely no problem with it at all.
True. Like Janet Jackson had a baby when she was like pretty like
yeah.
little.
I think that it can make you a little, like, it can be a little bit more tiring on your body. And, like, there are all of the medical statistics and everything. But I know a lot of people who are in their 40s that have had babies and their pregnancies were, like, great.
Right.
Everything was normal and easy and healthy. The babies are all completely fine. Right. So it's just like you can't really go by that because some people, especially in the States, I find, make such a huge deal about like
the age of pregnancy,
being like in your 30s and getting pregnant, especially once you hit 35 and above. It's like, you're too old or whatever. You're gonna have like all these complications and your like risk for all of these things being wrong with your baby are going like way up.
Also, at that point, you're like, I'm already worried enough. Why are you needing to reminding me every 2 seconds?
Well, it's like the risk can go up.
But it doesn't necessarily have to.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going up for you.
Well, because it's a generalization, like statistic or whatever. Like it's are obviously true for every single person.
Well, the thing is that women are born with the number of eggs that they're going to have throughout their entire lives. So
the quote unquote biological clock.
Yeah, like well, no, but it's not even to do with that at all. Like technically, because if you have a daughter, your daughter is carried inside you, and her like ovaries and everything form. Your grandchildren are being carried inside of you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
At one point.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really messed up to think about. But so if you have a daughter, her eggs are the ones that she's going to have through her entire life. So if you think about all the pollution and like anything that she exposes herself to over her lifetime up until she decides to have a child, like that's all impacting the quality of those eggs. So that's why the older you are, the risk kind of goes up, just because they could have been through a little bit more. Right. Like there are other factors that play in there for like different people, obviously. But yeah, if you want to get like really simple about it, that's something. So generally, if you're like a healthy person and you haven't done too much stuff with your body for like long periods of time, you're probably gonna be okay as long as there isn't another factor coming into play there. Right. That's my 2 cents as somebody who got pregnant at 35.
We love a biology lesson.
Yeah,
that is biology, right?
I also had the doctor say that because every single time my forget what the test is called, but the one at 12 weeks where they do the blood and the ultrasound.
Okay.
My test for both Dash and Daisy came back as like the absolute lowest risk factor.
Oh, nice.
For like any kind of birth defect that you could have.
Right.
So they were joking with me about how I had the eggs of like a 17-year-old.
Right. Well, that's good to know. So, well, you also haven't really done too many quote-unquote bad things to your body.
I've taken fairly good care of my body.
Yeah, I think so too.
Over the years.
For the most part, you've exercised your whole life. Mm-hmm. You haven't done really any drugs or anything like that, so...
No, I drank.
Yeah, you drank. It. But even that, like, it's like, I've never seen you, like, black out. But that's also, I mean, I met you at an older age,
you didn't
so...
mean that.
17.
I only started drinking when I was, like, 17. I have only had a few instances where I've, like, had a little bit of a blackout. I've never lost an entire night. I know that some people have.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost either. Like maybe like an hour.
Okay. Like what did I do for that hour?
And then somebody like tells you about it, and you're like, oh yeah.
Have you did you ever like throw up a lot because of drinking?
Oh hell yes, yeah. Yes. See, this is also another great thing. I just missed. Like I was a teenager and like early 20s, just before everything like with social media took off, so I don't have any
embarrassing
of this.
quote unquote pictures or anything like that.
Yeah, I just missed it.
Yeah, there's a video of me on one of my friends' Instagrams where I'm just out of it. I remember it happening, like I didn't black out or anything, but I'm just like I'm not saying I'm not very coherent.
Yeah. Well, one of the most drunk times that I think that I've ever been was at a party at my friend's house, who actually their house was the house used in Mean Girls. Ooh. For Katie's house in the party. So I was at that house.
That's amazing.
In a party. And I had way too much to drink. I tried to eat some Greek food to help myself. Like I actually ate rice.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I was gonna say for those of you who don't know, Melissa hates rice. I don't know why. What rice has done to her. Rice is great.
But I ended up in the bathroom.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure I had alcohol poisoning because I was like shaking and freezing cold.
Do you think that maybe why you still hate rice?
No, okay. I hated rice even
before that. Okay.
This is like almost a lifelong hate.
Rice is just out there. I'm like, I'm just existing my life.
Ray. Ray took
so
care
wonderful.
of me. He was piling like, it was in the winter, and he was piling like coats on me and blankets and everything, and like looking after me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And then I was okay, and I went back downstairs to the party.
Drinking?
Probably like, no, I didn't have anything else to drink. I had water.
That's good.
And yeah, I think it was probably about like 2 or 3 hours later that I was able to actually go back and enjoy the party. So he's an amazing guy. We've talked about how wonderful he is before. Yeah, Ray took care of me. He
That's so sweet.
Opted out of a party to look after me for like hours.
Well, that's like, I feel like that should be normal because I've done that for people.
Yeah.
But like I do get it. Like a lot of people wouldn't have done that. But I feel like if it's someone you care about, you don't want them to like get hurt or like, choke on their vomit or something. Because if they like fall down on their back and then they throw up in their, like that's, I feel like that should be normalized and like helping your friends, making sure they don't die or hurt themselves. But yeah, that's good that he did that.
podcasts and radio dramas? Oh my god. Seriously? You are the worst.
I work 2 jobs. I'm busy. I film a sex talk show for MNP.
Molly.
What's going on?
This one.
Okay, so I'll listen to just my parts. What is this one about?
So, MNP just finished their 3-episode mini-series.
Oh, Macbeth.
Yes!
Yes, I remember recording this when I was, like, out of it for, like, 3 days. Yes, it was fun. I'm excited to listen to them.
It's actually amazing. And if you guys out there listening have not tuned in yet, you should go there right now. Check out the very first 3-part
miniseries
of Macbeth.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Melissa edited them all.
I did for the very first time ever.
So
you should be proud of me.
Big props to her. I'm sure it's going to be amazing once I hear it.
But go and check them out.
On MNP Podcasts, on podcast platforms, and on the Mortar and Pestle Productions YouTube channel.
They're all there. Subscribe, follow, do all of the things, but make sure that you are listening. Get a little bit of culture in your life.
Yes, Shakespeare is important.
And we make it fun.
Yes, and if you don't understand what they're saying, follow along with the spark notes or something.
I'm also very happy that we can now say Macbeth because we're not worried about the curse happening.
I've like almost died this one time. I like was at a friend's house and I had way too much to like drink. I don't know if we also got high. I don't think we did. I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh no, bless you.
Thank you. We'll keep that in. Enjoy my sneeze. Don't worry, it's not COVID.
Better not be. Just gonna shuffle farther away from you now.
Yeah, like I was really out of it, and at that time I wasn't like I think that was like my second or third time ever drinking.
Okay, that makes total sense.
So I was like not really being careful, I guess, with what I was drinking and
you were just
drinking
too
water.
Dumb to know.
Well, I literally had a bottle of vodka and a bottle of gin, and I was just drinking from the bottles.
You're an idiot, Wally. Somebody should have like told you.
Well, they did, and they were trying to get the bottles away from me, but I was being like, no, and like just drinking it anyway.
I would have grabbed. I would have been like, okay, this is what you do. Here's a glass.
Yeah, but you're also like smart. They were also like my age and idiots.
Yeah, I would have done that when I was younger.
Anyway, I got really drunk, and at one point apparently I bit one of my friends because we were eating pizza and they were we had ordered pizza after we started drinking, which we should have probably just had pizza before we started drinking, so that there was something in our stomachs.
So you did this all in an empty stomach too?
Yeah. It was not a smart day.
Really are.
It was not a smart day. So we were eating pizza, or they were trying to make me eat pizza, and I would not bite it properly. Like I was just like like going with my lips. Like there was sauce all over my face. I was just being so stubborn for some reason that night, which is not like me at all. To like when I'm drinking, at least. Like I'm usually pretty smart.
Like stupid drunk.
Well, yeah. So I like. Apparently, because someone took a video of me, and my one friend was shirtless. I was like, "Why is he shirtless?" And they were like, "You don't remember?" I'm like, "No." They were like, "You bit him, and he got like pizza sauce all over his shirt." I was like, "What?" So apparently, while like they were trying to feed me pizza and I wasn't eating it, and I had sauce all over my face. They're like, "Well, you have sauce all over your face." So in my smart ass mind, I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna wipe my face on this guy's white shirt." Right beside me. So I just like opened my mouth and like didn't actually like bite him, but like I guess bit his like stomach or whatever, and like got sauce all over his shirt. At one point, apparently, I was like meditating and like singing Hindu prayers.
Oh my god!
And then
I can't. It's stressing me out.
Yeah, and then what? And then someone was like, at one point, apparently, like I was like spinning, and my eyes were closed, and I was like, "Why is the room spinning?" They're like, "You can't. What do you mean, Wally? You can't even see." And then I like opened my eyes, and my friend's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, and I started throwing up.
Well, yeah, spinning is never good. Spinning means that you're pretty much going to start puking.
Yeah, so I threw up all over my friend's coffee table and floor, and then she gave me a plastic bag to like go to the washroom and make sure I don't throw up on the way through the washroom. And she was like, and I was just like, I'll like my head up. She's like, no, put your head in the plastic bag. So I just dunked my whole head into the plastic bag, but then there's like throw up in there. So I'm just like covered in puke. Then I go to the washroom, and they're trying to feed me water, but I'm just like blowing bubbles. I'm not doing anything smart. They're trying to feed me crackers. I was like biting them and spitting them into the toilet. Like, I'm just not doing anything smart at this point. But I almost died because outside of all of that, she had a radiator in her bathroom with a very sharp edge.
Uh-huh.
And at one point, I just like fell backwards and almost like I grazed the edge of it with my head. And they were like, "Oh my god, Wally!" And like I was fine. But that night was probably one of my stupidest nights drinking, and I called people names, and I was like apparently like trying to fight someone, which is so unlike me. Like,
it's your true nature coming through.
I am so not a violent person ever, but apparently I was like, "You want to fight?" And he was like, "No, Wally, I don't want to fight." Especially because I would not have been able to take him at all. And apparently I called someone a toilet. Like I said that they looked like a toilet because he's like, "You're gonna throw up, look, like, face towards the toilet." I'm like, "I am looking towards the toilet. You're like ugly like a toilet," or whatever. I was like, and like the next day I was like remembered everything, and I was like, "What is wrong with me? Like, why did any of this happen? Like, why did I do this to myself?" And then I was crying about like nothing, and they were like, "What are you crying about?" And I was like mumbling things that like didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's the emotional hangover from being stupid drunk.
Well, not the next day. That was that night.
Yeah.
I didn't get I've never had a hangover.
No, but
the next
day, were you like
no
feeling great about yourself, or were you like, "Oh my god"?
No, I was fine. I was just like that was stupid, and I like apologized to my friend so much because I slept on her couch, and like while she was drunk too, she had to clean up her place, like clean up the coffee table, the floor, and all that. Yeah. And I was like, "I am so sorry." She's like, "It's fine. We've all been there. Like, it's like you just need to like be more careful next time and like drink more responsibly if you're going to continue drinking." So yeah, that was probably my stupidest time getting drunk ever. I've had other times where like I've thrown up and then continued drinking. Because I was fine.
People do that.
You've never done that?
No, I don't think so. I'm not a huge... It takes a lot to
get you to that
have me to that point. And usually it's at like the end of the night when everything has stopped. And then, yeah. Never fun.
No.
Never ever fun.
Nope.
But yeah.
Yesterday kind of like was like, because I got drunk last night, there were moments I'm like, of like, oh my god, am I doing the same thing that I did that one time? But I wasn't, because I like was straight, like, now I realize that if I'm eating and like drinking water and all that throughout my drinking, then I can usually fine. Like I haven't drunk, quote unquote, too much since that night probably. Like, I mean, there's been times where like I've like kind of like thrown up and then continued the night, but like I haven't ruined my night.
I think that this, because like this is the whole like perceptions of aging or age. I think that in your like teen years to early 20s, whenever it is, every single person goes through like that really rough one, like hopefully one time, but sometimes like more than that,
right?
where everybody who is smarter than you needs to take care of you the entire night.
Yeah, they took turns watching me in the bathroom, making sure I didn't die.
Yeah, because you're like the ridiculous person who can't handle anything.
Well, because they were all like my same age, but they had been drinking for years.
No, but this is
so
what
they
I
were
mean.
like,
they already had it, and they were just like the seasoned drinkers, and they're looking at you being like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
really?" That happened to us at our was it semi-formal?
Oh gosh,
I think our OAC or grade 12.
Okay.
Semi-formal, and yes, I was in high school when there was OAC.
That's how old she is.
Yeah. Well, I think that it only lasted for, I think, 2 or 3 more years after I graduated. Yeah. So I was at the tail end of it, but still, OAC. Mm-hmm. And it was great. I liked it.
I think we should bring it back.
Yeah. We were all getting ready at the Skydome Hotel, because that was like the one place where you could get hotel rooms if you were young, and they would not like check in on you or like just straight up refuse to allow you to stay there.
Right.
So we had one of the suites, which is like a 2-level suite, and then we had a room for the girls that wanted to get ready for the semi across the hall. So we were all over in the hallway, and then whenever we wanted to go over and like party and socialize, we would go over to
the other room, the suite,
the big suite where everybody else was. So we were doing that, and I was having a shower to get ready, and a guy, I will not name any names in this.
Do I know this person?
No.
Okay.
A guy gets brought in there puking all across the floor to the toilet. I'm naked in the shower.
Oh my god. And you're like 17, 18.
Yeah. Like, it didn't really bother me, except I didn't know this guy very well. And I think that he was brought in by that one over there. I'm pointing to my partner. I'm not 100% sure if it was him, but I remember talking to somebody, like poking my head out of the shower curtain, being
what's
like,
happening?
What the hell are you doing? Because I need to step out onto this floor.
Oh, God.
But like, they just left him in there and did not clean anything
by himself?
up. Yeah.
How dare you?
They're like teenage guys. They don't stay around. They just drop the person off so it's not their problem anymore.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So that was my getting ready for a semi.
So what did you do? Did you help him? What did you do?
No, I was in the shower.
I know, but like, what happened when you came out?
I like tried not to step on puke.
And he was still in there?
Yeah. He was in there like all night.
Oh, God.
We were not able to use that washroom.
Oh my God.
It was terrible.
glaring at your partner. Yeah, that's crazy and gross.
It might not have been that brought him in, but I think that he did bring him in. There's just like something.
We're just blaming everything on him.
There's just something in me that's telling me that he was the one that did it.
That happened. Something similar happened at your one of your recent birthdays.
Yes.
That was not fun.
That wasn't fun.
Especially because we had to clean it up.
Yeah, with bare hands.
Yeah. Just throw up.
There are things that you do for friendship. Like, that, I wasn't that bothered.
I was.
Other than just
I wasn't bothered by the fact that it happened, but like, to not even help clean it up, that bothered me.
I think that they were in a U state.
No, like but the next day. I don't mean...
No, but I mean like you being all like super drunk.
Yeah, but if the next day I woke up, I would help if it hadn't been cleaned up.
If you were hungover and it was going to make you puke even more.
I don't get hangovers.
But you know that this person does.
Well, that's something that they should do. That sounds like a big problem.
But it would have been like an everybody problem if they had been trying to help and then
I guess it's just was gross.
Well, yes.
And like we were the only ones cleaning it up.
Welcome to our talk about vomit.
No one else was helping.
Hope you're enjoying this. I know that everybody likes to talk about vomit.
And I was like, I am too pretty for this. And I was like, it's your birthday. We should not be the ones doing that. But we did.
It's fine.
And it's fine. It's fine. It's all in the past.
It's fine. We went for breakfast. You left your number for
I did. That was probably the first time
I'd
ever done that.
Time. I was very proud. And then
that was the first time
I
ever done
that. And I went in the sauna.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a shower and I felt like great. After the sauna.
That's good.
I felt great.
Yeah, we that was a good night.
Yeah, I woke up really early and did not feel great. But then
we were pretty drunk.
Yeah, I was like...
We went for Korean barbecue the night before. It was really good.
Yeah, we went for Korean barbecue, which was excellent.
You also looked so good. Because we went and bought you 2 outfits because we couldn't decide which one to buy.
I love them.
And they're both so pretty on you.
They are.
But yeah, and then at the night time, I also left for a hookup.
Mm-hmm.
When everyone was sleeping.
Yes.
And then, yeah, it was a good couple days.
Yeah, and I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that with Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went down to like the pool because we were both hungover. We got coffee.
And apples. I remember apples. Were there apples?
Yeah, coffee and apples and like the lemon lime water that they have in like the spa areas of hotels. We were just like, this is wonderful. And we sat and we were just like drinking our coffee.
I think I was still sleeping with Kyle.
You were.
Not together. On like the food couch or whatever whatever it's called.
Yeah, we woke up. Courtney and I woke up because our room smelled of vomit.
And then Courtney left because she had a showing or something.
Yes.
And then we went for breakfast after that.
We went for breakfast.
Yeah, that was...
This was how things happened.
And then... Did Kyle leave too? Because he didn't come for breakfast. Or was he just sleeping at the time?
He was sleeping.
He was sleeping?
Kyle sleeps.
Yeah.
He got his poutine. I was so happy.
Oh, yeah.
I sent him on a mission for
his poutine. Your poutine. You're the one who wanted poutine, Melissa.
No, I know. That's why I sent him on a mission.
Wait, but you said he got his poutine. I was like, no.
He
it was
got poutine. I sent him on a mission for poutine. And he
That was really nice of him. He's
a wonderful guy.
He is. Yeah, he's super nice.
He went on this enormously long...
I think it was a half-hour walk or something.
Yeah. For poutine. For me.
For you. Well, all of us. But it was your idea.
It was so good.
It was really good. I think poutine is one of those things, and poutine and burritos and pizza. Mm-hmm. When you're drunk, just get you for some reason.
Poutine is my thing.
Yeah.
It was or nachos.
Nachos too. I had nachos last night. But then you guys went to bed, and Kyle and I ordered dessert from the hotel.
Yes, I know.
It was so
I remember
good.
That.
I don't remember what it was, but it was good.
At one of our friends' weddings,
mm-hmm.
the late night bar, whatever. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really a bar because they just brought the food out. But the late night menu came out, and it was poutine. I jumped up on a chair and was like, yeah! Arms above my head. I was like, yeah!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Speaking of wedding, remember the time I exposed your whole breast to everyone?
At the one wedding, the Alan and Courtney wedding, when I was and here's my boob.
I was trying to help.
Yeah, he was trying to... My dress was very, very low cut.
Well, it was one of those dresses with straps, right? That you can
it was just
put into any way.
Yeah. What a convertible dress,
mm-hmm.
Those
with the skirt and then the long,
famously convertible dresses mm-hmm. with the super long straps that you can do anything with.
Mm-hmm.
I had that, and it was
plunging.
It was plunging pretty much down to my belly button.
Yeah, and you looked so good, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was us three dancing.
Yes, I was dancing and having fun, and Wally tried to help me because he thought that my boob was at risk of coming out.
Your nipple was about to show.
So he moved it, and it just popped my boob.
But I moved it to
right
the side that I was trying to help cover up. Got covered up, I guess, but then I moved it too quickly and too fast, so the other side just the boob just came out, and I was like, oh my god.
And then Wally and Am are just like instantly forming a shield around me, and I like pop it back in, and I'm like, yeah, and start dancing again. I'm pretty sure that it's on video, but so far I have been told that it's not. Oh Do I believe this story? Not really. I think that it's out there.
I felt so bad. But like, you don't really seem to like. It wasn't like a big deal, I guess. But it was so funny to me that even happened. I'm like, I was just trying to be a nice person to make sure the boob didn't get exposed, and that I'm the one who exposed it.
It was fine. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things that will happen.
Oh, gosh.
You know. Plus, we were naked so much that weekend anyway.
That's true, but not in front of, like, family.
That we know of.
That's true. I guess they could have...
Although Courtney's mom did volunteer to take a picture of all of our asses.
Yeah, she was upset that we didn't ask her.
Yeah.
Because he put the camera on a timer instead. She's like, I could have taken a better picture. I'm like, yeah, you probably could have.
It is a good picture, though.
It is.
I
agree.
like that picture.
That's probably the only, well, not the only, but like that day I took a picture of my own butt from my camera, and like my butt looked so good. So I think that's like to this, well, not anymore, but until a few months ago, that was like my quote unquote butt nude that I would send to people. But I haven't done that in a while.
Aww, it's because he has a boyfriend, everybody.
God. Gross. It's not gross, it's cute. But
it's really cute.
Anyway, that's neither here or there. We could talk about that at a different time. I think that this was a hilarious episode in the terms of that we basically barely talked about what we really set off to talk about.
We touched on it every now and then. You know. It's fine.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Vomit, nudity. It's all good.
The things that we talk about on a normal basis anyway. Okay, so.
Yes.
Marry, F or kill.
Uh-huh.
Anthony, JVN, or Karamo.
What?
From Queer Eye. Anthony, the Polish chef.
I like him. I was like,
JVN
are we talking about the guy who, like, you were messing around with? Because kill. For a second, that's where I thought this was going.
Nope. Karamo's, you know them now. One, Karamo's the culture guy.
Which one is the middle one?
JVN, the hair grooming.
Oh, I don't like him.
Super gay. You don't like him? I think he's hilarious.
He's funny, but like, if I had to kill one, I would totally kill him.
Okay.
So, okay.
Kill him.
Yeah. Killing him. He's fake or something. Like, I know that he's really nice and like a character, but it's like way too over the top for me. I would not be able to handle that all the time, so kill him.
This is a controversial answer, I feel like.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna come for us.
Ooh. Okay, I feel like I am marrying culture guy.
Okay. Karamo.
And effing
Anthony. Okay.
Because he can make me like a good meal afterwards, and he's like attractive.
He's very. I think.
But
he's
like the other guy is
JVN?
just I know that he has like children, or he wants to have children.
Karamo?
Yeah.
He has 2 children.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. He's like.
Yeah.
He's like in it. He's a well put together.
No, he definitely
man.
is. I agree. Okay. What I would do is I would also kill JVN.
It's too much.
I just
also,
like.
with you cannot have 2 of you.
Okay.
Or somebody more so.
What are you trying to say? I'm not too much. Are you saying I'm too much?
When you like put it on,
Okay, yeah, but I feel like I do it like. I feel like it's a joke usually. That would be a lot. No, I agree.
At like a party.
That would be a lot. That would be a lot. I feel like I'm like most people think that I'm probably so much because they meet my like social. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously different ways we interact with different people, but I feel like when I'm like just like a casual hangout with like us, like I feel like I'm not that way all the time, and
no,
like
you're not.
and like if I'm in like a date situation or whatever, like I'm also like not like everyone thinks that I'm gonna be so high maintenance or whatever. I'm just like I'm so easygoing with that kind of stuff. I'm like I don't care where we eat, you know, I don't care about most of that stuff. Like obviously there's, you know, like different levels of whatever. Like it's like
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I would kill him. I would F Karamo.
I knew it was going this way.
Because he's very attractive and he yeah, he's really nice. But I would marry Anthony. You know this. The way his lips move when he talks, I cannot. It just does something to me. And I think every time we've watched an episode of that, I that's all I talk about.
He mentions his lips every time.
I don't know what it is. It just does something. It's like the same thing with Tom Hardy. The way his lips move when he talks, it just gets me too, and I don't know what it is. Like I don't know why.
People's lips.
I don't know what it is about it. Like I don't know if they're like pursing it in a weird, you know, like just moving in a different way when they're talking. It just gets to me. So I would marry Anthony for basically that only reason. Well, he's also, I feel like he'd be a good like partner in the sense of like we'd cook together and like have good meals all the time, and he's also very attractive other than his lips as well, I think. But yeah, those are my answers.
All right.
That was extremely serious, obviously, and like that was probably the most serious we've ever been on this podcast.
Yeah.
Take everything we say extremely seriously, and you know, call us out in the comments.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Guys, just subscribe all over the place.
Subscribe, follow. I think on Spotify it's follow, on Anchor it's subscribe, on YouTube it's subscribe.
Yes.
Like and comment, and follow us on Instagram. It's
we cannot wait to hear from you guys.
Yeah. DM us ideas or things you want us to talk about, or if you want to come on the show and talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about, we can make it happen.
This is true. We would love to talk to you. I would love to interview somebody.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll do it over Zoom until we're able to do it in person.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.